Welcome to Healing Wisdom, a Thursday morning talk show featuring guests sharing their stories and knowledge. We discuss the healing aspects of the arts, metaphysics, social justice, and adventure through all types of terrain. So join me, Pandora Peoples, here on WOMR 92.1 FM in Provincetown and WFMR 91.3 FM in Orleans. We're streaming worldwide at WOMR.org. Hello out there. Today we are in the middle of our summer pledge drive. I'd like to thank sustaining members Kristen Knowles and Tom Fettig. You can become a sustaining member of WOMR for as little as $15 a month. There's no time like the present to become a sustaining member of WOMR. As our thank you gift for becoming a sustaining member of this hour or any other hour of your choice, you can receive a large blue terry cloth beach towel with our gorgeous logo and a lovely image of a whale. So get your beautiful thank you gift and pledge now at 508-487-2619, or you can go online to WOMR.org. And in addition to our gifts, we appreciate your sustaining membership so much that we will thank you once a week for your sustaining membership. So whether it's on Healing Wisdom, this hour of programming, or any other of your choice, please call now 508-487-2619. We love those calls. Keep them coming in. It's great to hear from you. Behind me is Mike Flanagan, who will be performing Monday, August 12th at the Provincetown Jazz Festival with Tish Adams, and we'll hear more about their concert and other concerts. Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us, Bart.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We're talking about the 20th Annual Provincetown Jazz Festival happening August 5th, 12th, and 13th. Bart Wesiman is the founder, executive producer, and performer for the Provincetown Jazz Festival. He hosts Jazz Jam Cape Cod, appears at the West End Blue Restaurant, and Summer Jazz with Bart Wesiman at Pan. He is the jazz band director at Sturgis East and directs and performs for the Jazz in the Schools program. His bands include the jazz group, Klezmer Swing Group, Smooth Jazz Group, and the Cape Cod Jazz Quartet and Trio. Tell us about how this jazz festival started 20 years ago, what the sort of inspiration was.
Well, my wife, who's an artist, and I moved to Provincetown, and we were working on a condo that we were going to live in. And, I was thinking, I guess I'd played a bunch of golf courses or things like that, and started doing some jazz. At the time, it was great because we were there every Friday night at Clement Ursi's and starting to move around the Cape a little bit playing. And I really didn't see a festival at the time on the Cape, so decided to start one and played around with all kinds of different things in the beginning. We tried daytime concerts, we tried master classes, we moved from town hall to other venues. So the main thing that came out of that early years was the second year we did a jazz jam, and 50 professional musicians came up to participate on a Sunday in August. And I said, geez, if they'll do this, we can do this year round. And we've been doing it year round ever since. We're at the Cultural Center, third Sunday of every month. And some of the musicians who performed at the Jazz Jam have gone on to perform at the festival. So the festival fed the Jazz Jam, and the Jazz Jam fed the festival. And that's great. We also set it up so we could make donations. And for 20 years, we've been donating a portion of the proceeds. And happy to say this year we gave some money for the transmitter replacement fund for Omar. So it's great that we can do things like that. We're not wealthy, and we never thought we'd be philanthropic, but setting up a nonprofit, the Jazz Festival, and having nonprofit venue. All of our venues are nonprofits. This year we have 3 nonprofit venues: the Cultural Center, Cotuit Center for the Arts, and Provincetown Art Association Museum, working with the nonprofit Provincetown Jazz Festival. And the biggest thing that came out of the festival was 10 years ago, I started a program called Jazz in the Schools. And that's what I do during the school year. And we visit 20 to 30 schools, elementary to middle school. We tried high school, but it works better at this level. The school we've been to the most over the 10 years has been in Provincetown, and then schools like Brewster all the way down to Falmouth. And it's a program for the whole school, and we take them through 100 years of jazz, and it's paid for by the Jazz Festival. It costs the school nothing. And it's a wonderful program. The kids participate. You can see 300 kids sitting in a gym. They dance, they sing, they clap. They really get into the music, and we have a great time with them. And what's really cool for me is, when you're in the grocery store and some kid comes up to you and says, you were just at my school. But the best thing is, I'm a jazz band director down at Sturgis, as you mentioned, and I've got this last semester, or the last school year, I had 2 students playing with me in the jazz band who went to Jazz in the Schools when they were kids. And so, I always thought it was to get the kids more involved in jazz, but to make them musicians too is fabulous. So it's a real compliment.
So I was listening to the music that you sent me for a lot of the performers from the festival, and they're also amazing, just really, really talented. Can you talk about who's going to be performing?
Yes. So on August 5th, which has been sold out for about 2 weeks, a couple years ago, I looked, and it was going to be the 65th anniversary of Kind of Blue by Miles Davis, and was recorded in 1959. Some critics consider that to be the best jazz album ever. So the Cape Cod Jazz Quartet, with Steve Ahern on trumpet, Fred Boyle on piano, Ron Ormsby on bass, and myself on drums, we're going to perform the entire album. And so that'll open up the program. And then after intermission, we bring, this year we're bringing back a number of musicians who have already performed at the festival to celebrate the 20th year. Cassandra McKinley last performed in Provincetown with us, and she's a professor at Berkeley, a wonderful singer. And the Cape Cod Jazz Quartet will back her for the second part of the program. Then we moved down August 12th to the Katuitt Center for the Arts, and that program still has tickets available. And we are going to open up with Mike Flanagan, who is no stranger to Provincetown. He's going to make his debut at the festival, and he'll be joined for a couple songs at the end of his set by Teddy Marsh, who performed with us the first year we went to Katuitt to show people what we were doing in Provincetown. And then the second half of the program, Mike will stay with the Cape Cod Jazz Trio, and we'll back Tish Adams, who is coming back to the festival, and just a wonderful singer. August 13th, we come back to Provincetown at the Provincetown Art Association Museum, which is our home for the festival concert. And we have two performers who originally performed in Katuitt. They opened up for Ken Poplawski, and now we're going to feature them individually. Matt Deschamplain is a teacher at the Hart School of Music. He plays piano, and he specializes in stride, but he does all kinds of jazz. And we'll make sure he does a solo stride thing. And that'll open up with a trio performance. And then we'll bring out Atla Deschamplain, who's his wife. She's a teacher at the University of Rhode Island. And then to back her will be Steve Ahern on trumpet and flute. So that'll be a wonderful concert. And I just happy to have all of these musicians returning and Mike Flanagan making his debut.
Let's hear Tish Adams with Broadway.
Broadway, Broadway, everybody's happy and gay, where the night is brighter than day, all along Broadway. Sweethearts and beaux on their way to movies and shows, dressed up in their Sunday best clothes, up and down Broadway. Out of town, I'm low down when I walk along the main street. Anywhere, I don't care, I always find a main street, just another plain street, Broadway.
With Tish Adams, we brought you Broadway, a jazz standard known from Count Basie's band. Matt Deschamplain, I decided to give you a piece where it shows off his left hand, the stride, and this is a piece called Caravan by Juan Tizal from Duke Ellington. And to finish off, Atla Deschamplain, just a wonderful rendition of her and Matt performing together, basically known by Count Basie and Jimmy Rushing. Those four will give you a good idea of the kind of music that you'll hear at the festival. We always try to do a lot of jazz standards and make it accessible to everybody who's there.
So how did you start on your music career? What got you interested in music in the first place?
I was born in Washington, D.C. I've never lived anyplace else until I moved to Cape Cod 20 years ago. I really didn't have a great interest in music till I was 13. My grandparents took me to some symphony concerts, and that was terrific. But when I was 13, I went to a party, and there was a drummer playing, and I just looked and said, that's what I'm going to be doing the rest of my life. It was love at first sight. I quickly immersed myself in the drum set and then percussion. I studied with the principal percussionist of the National Symphony Orchestra and the principal timpanist for National Symphony Orchestra. graduated early from high school, went to music school, and found myself gravitating back to the drum set more and more, playing in jazz and rock at night. And I got picked up by the Air Force Band, and I was with a group called the Diplomats. We had guitar, piano, bass, and drums. We played at the White House, the Vice President's house for generals, celebrities. We weren't allowed to travel, never left the DC area, maybe within 45 or 50 minutes. I did that. And then when I got out of the band, I started doing more jazz clubs and playing more what's considered society gigs in DC. And was teaching a little bit. And when I moved up to the Cape, I just started all from scratch again, just teaching and playing and taking it wherever it took me around the Cape.
How do you feel about not being allowed to travel during that period?
You mean when I was with the Air Force Band?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, it was great because what happened was when I was 16, a rock band asked me to do a Midwest tour. And I went out to Chicago and Wisconsin, had a blast. It was all first class, air flights, big Winnebago hotels. We had a ball. And I came back and I said, I never want to do that again. And when the Air Force Band asked me to go with the big band, the Airmen and Note, it was all travel. I said no. And same with the ceremonial band and the concert band, which I played for one summer. And so I was very happy. And it's like that on the Cape now. I don't, people say, you're going to Falmouth? I'm like, yeah, I don't care. As long as I can get home at night, I'm happy. So I don't care where I play on the Cape. It doesn't matter to me. If it takes me an hour or 2 hours to get there, I don't care. But getting home at night is always the key to me. I'm not a big person on travel.
Someone shouldn't hold me tight. That would be very nice. Someone to love me right. That would be very nice. Someone to understand each little dream in me. Someone to take my hand, be a team with me. So nice, life would be so nice if one day I'd find someone who will take my hand and samba through life with me.
If you're just joining us now, you're listening to Healing Wisdom on WOMR 92.1 FM in Provincetown and WFMR 91.3 FM in Orleans. We're streaming at WOMR.org, and you can also find our new WOMR app. We're here speaking with Bart Wesiman, and we'd love to hear from you, so give us a call at 508-487-2619. We're in the midst of our summer pledge drive. If you're not a member and you want to sign up today, you can also go to WOMR.org. If you want me or any other talk radio host or DJ here to read your name every week, you can become a sustaining member and take home a beautiful, ginormous blue whale towel with WOMR and our call numbers on the luxurious terry cloth towel. 508-487-2619. Be the envy of the sunbathers and swimmers on the beach this summer. Rock the biggest towel on the beach. Music lovers will high-five you. Lovers of soft fabrics will look at you wistfully. And make this the summer of love on the beach. 508-487-2619. Playing for generals and celebrities, and what was that time like?
Presidents and vice presidents. It was very cool. I mean, for 4 years, the Air Force didn't give me a drum set. I had to play on my drum set, which was a fine drum set. And the vice president was only the second person to live in the vice president's home. This was Walter Mondale. And before that, it was Governor Rockefeller. And before that, vice presidents had their own house for security. So the chief of naval operations lived up at top of Massachusetts Avenue. And that home became the vice president's home. So it was fabulous working for Mondale, because Joe Mondale would go out to the National Gallery of Art, pick some art off there and bring it back. So every time I went there was like different art around. And, so I'd wander around the house looking at different things, whatever. They had to buy furniture, which was new. Some of it had gift of Governor Nelson Rockefeller. And anyway, so one time I came back and somebody's playing my drum set, and it was the vice president of the United States. Now, this is my set. It's like you go outside and somebody's driving your car around. But, we had a great time. A lot of parties. When NATO came to town, they'd take over a restaurant. And, we do 4 hours of jazz, maybe some rock, maybe some pop, but it was primarily a jazz band. And the audition process was I was 19 when I got the gig, and it was 3-hour audition, and you really had to, you really had to be good. And I went to basic training like everybody else, and I was the youngest technical sergeant in the entire Air Force, because they give you a bunch of stripes. But I had a ball, and it was great training. My teachers were not very happy because they want to be in a symphony orchestra. But I really wanted to, I like improvisation, and I like new things all the time, and jazz is perfect for that.
Wow. So you did basic training too. What was that like?
July and August in San Antonio, Texas. It was very, very hot. There was a flute player who just graduated from Juilliard, and he and I were in the same flight, and we were offered to be in the band at basic training, which would have been great duty, but we would have had to spend 2 more weeks. And we looked at each other and said, nah, we can make it. So we did. We did. And I came back, supposed to come back and have some downtime, but I did my first gig the day after I got back. And we were on call all the time. We never knew where we were going to be playing. But it was a lot of fun. It was a great gig. The band downsized and that group went away shortly after I left the Air Force. So it was good timing for me to leave. But it was great experience. I'm happy to be a veteran.
You played with Jay Giles and Molly Ringwald, a number of musicians. Can you just share maybe some of your, favorite memories?
Well, with Jay Giles, Jay had started off as a trumpet player and then became a guitarist and had the band for many, many years. But when Jay left the Jay Giles band, he picked up his guitar, jazz guitar again. And there was this guitar trio. It was Guitar Summit with Jerry Bodwin and Howard Alden and then Jay Giles. And we performed on the Cape, and then we performed off Cape too. And it was just a really, really great experience. Jay would have his trumpet there, but he never played it. It was a Miles Davis trumpet. It was a lot of fun. And then with Molly Ringwald, I had read the festival is not known for bringing big, big names. We try to grab people who you may not have heard of, but are great talent. And like I said, this is the first year we're not doing a bunch of debuts. Next year, we're going to do 3 or 4 debuts. We try to debut new artists every year. So with Molly Ringwald, I had read that her father was a jazz musician and she was singing, and heard the album and sounded pretty good, and got in touch and worked out a deal. And have to thank Bruce Behrens for inking our contract for us. And we got her here, and we had a ball. The pianist that she uses an East Coast pianist and a West Coast pianist. The East Coast pianist, Alex Smith, is the pianist for Lady Gaga. And I had Ron Ormsby and myself, and we did a quick rehearsal, which we normally don't do with the festival, at Pam. We went and they lent us a room. And then we went to the festival and performed, and we really had a great time. And she was down to earth. My brother and sister-in-law were over from Paris, where they live, and they were happy to speak to her in French because she's fluent. And we had a really good time, and she did a great job.
This is a little sample of Atla and Matt Day Champlain with I Sent For You Yesterday. You can get tickets to the Provincetown Jazz Festival at provincetownjazzfestival.org.
Don't the moon look lonesome, shining through the trees? Don't the moon look lonesome, shining through the trees? Don't your arms look lonesome when your baby packs to leave?
you've been doing this a long time. Any other like standout memories of performances or collaborations?
Yeah, one year we decided to have a Berkeley Rising Star. So we had a trio of professors, piano, bass, and drums from Berkeley pick out. They had a competition there for a sax and trumpet player, and they brought them down. That was a lot of fun because I'm always about new and exciting talent, and that was a standout moment. When we were still at Town Hall, we had the New York's Finest, which is a big band made up of policewomen too, from New York City, and they have a jazz big band, and they came and performed. So that was a lot of fun, and we had to rent a bus and bring them down, and that was an exciting moment. So things like that, trying the new things out, the master classes, which didn't quite work out, the daytime concerts, which we quickly learned people weren't going to go to, and then getting into our formula of nighttime concerts and having multiple musicians on the bandstand for that night. So that's been really the learning process and growing process. But it's jazz, so it'll evolve. Something else will happen.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Bart Wesiman, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We're going to go out with Dance the Night Away from Bart Wesiman's Klezmer Swing Group.
Come take a chance with me and find romance with me. Now let's live fancy free so we can dance the night away. There's no mistaking now, I'm not forsaking how the evening brings us joy as we just dance the night away. Come feel the warmth and cheer, it's in the evening air, it's spreading everywhere, it's in the rhythm of the night. I feel the drums that play, they make the music sway, and I say come what may, we're here to join the night's delight. Have a rendezvous, a group of me and you and all the stars above, and we can dance the night away. Come join the reverie, let's move in harmony and see what love can bring as we just dance the night away. Come feel the warmth and cheer, it's in the evening air, it's spreading everywhere, it's in the rhythm of the night. I feel the drums that play, they make the music sway, and I say come what may, we're here to join the night's delight.
You've been listening to Healing Wisdom at Outermost Radio. All of our shows are podcasts at WOMR.org. Also check out healingwisdomradioshow.com and contact me at pandora@WOMR.org. Our theme music is provided by Mason. You can find her website at masonmusic.com. That's MAESYN.